I have two views of it. Every data point is negative for them. They not only did not register as many, 2 million as the Republicans in additional registration, but they lost registration. They're bleeding about 5 million people a year leaving the blue states.
I was going to say, and that's just in the 30 states that record voter registration.
Yes. And in addition to that, if you look at the fertility rate long term, the top 10 red states are up to 1.8 to 2, and the bottom of the 50 states down to 1.3 and 1.4 are all blue states.
Who would have thought that telling hyper-depressive ladies that they shouldn't have children or they'll kill the planet might have consequences?
Yeah, that was a bad idea by AOC, but it kind of predated her. And so the long term is not good for them. And I think that is a lot of their hysterias. And they don't have they can't come out and say, this is what our agenda is, that 55% of the people want, because their base or this new young youth or whatever this group is, Neil, so they won't allow that. So I think their attitude is, I have to dissimulate. I have to be nominated. If I'm going to get a national candidate, he's got to get through the primaries. And to get through the primaries, he's got to be crazy. And then he has to have the gymnastics that he can change and go to the middle to win an election. And it didn't work with Kamala Harris. She tried that half-heartedly at times. But that's their problem.
How nervous should it make Republicans?
Well, it doesn't make me very nervous to hear Democrats with a straight face looking into a television camera and saying, boy, how did we get to this affordability crisis? Given that we all know how we got there over the last 4 years.
You're right.
And the
From the disaster of Donald Trump. You're absolutely right.
So you're saying we had no affordability crisis during the Biden years?
I will say that.
Where did the inflation come from?
You know, this is the difference between someone who led policy in the White House and someone who talked about it. So Republican presidents.
You can't answer the question. Did inflation go up or not? Did inflation go up or not?
Inflation has gone up.
Did inflation go up under Biden or not?
Republican presidency.
What's killing your party is a failure to be honest with the American people about why you lost the last election.
Michael, you go, then Scott. Michael, you go, then Scott. Hang on, Scott. Go ahead, Michael.
To the question, at the end.
You see there, America, if the only way I think Democrats can actually win an election is if Americans don't show up, if Americans don't pay attention, because no one likes this party. You saw their approval rating 28% as a party, yet they won the Iowa special election because no one was prepared for it. No one was paying attention. And this is the only way, my honest opinion about that special election. The Democrats, you guys won on a fluke, in my estimation, because every data point shows a midterm crisis for you guys. As you saw from the intro, Victor highlighted it perfectly with a bunch of good data points that I see. And from a long-term trajectory, this is one of the reasons why the left is so angry about the fact that the right has a strong kind of center in online media and in the ability to influence the youth. Because end of the day, most kids are born to conservative parents based on the statistics, as you saw from the intro. So long term, the Democrats are kind of screwed. And this is kind of what's driving this hysteria and this overreaction. And I believe this is part of a broader strategy. As you saw from the intro, Scott Jennings called out the Democratic Party about the fact that they can't accept responsibility for the part they play into contributing to some of the problems that we have fallen into. And the fact that they don't have an agenda, they don't have an alternative way to deal with the issues that they help create. But instead, they want to gaslight us, cause a bunch of chaos, and pretend that everything is Donald Trump's fault. And this is why I said the Democrats have nothing to offer but anti-Trumpism. Democrats love to project, but we all know this happened under Biden. This is all the statistics that happened under Biden. You can pause it if you want. But this is all Biden-Harris administration, right? And the fact that, they're here trying to fight mass deportation, right? Things that Donald Trump ran on. It shows you that the Democrats really have nothing to really stand on. And before I go further into the video, I want to play this clip of Victor continuing to dissect the Democratic Party. And this is some of the points that I brought up too. And I think many Americans, if you relate to this, leave a like in the comment section. I think many Americans will say that Victor has a spot-on view, what most people in the middle feel or know about the Democratic Party. Let's take a look.
Do you see them coalescing around anything at all between now and next November?
Well, they only have one unifying theme, and that is they all want to destroy and they hate Donald Trump. So sometimes they hit watermelons, sometimes they do the filibuster Cory Booker style, sometimes they make those obscene videos. sometimes they kind of go crazy, but otherwise they're not offering any counter agenda. They don't say, well, we would prefer this on the border, and here's what we're going to do, or here's why we should return to the new Green Deal. They're on 30 to 40% of every issue. They don't own the House or the Senate or the White House or the Supreme Court. So they lost the popular vote and the Electoral College, first time since 2004. So I think they're very frustrated, and they've got this Jacobin radical base, and I'm not sure that's the right term for it anymore, base, because I think they've taken over the entire party, and that what you saw in Minneapolis, whether people like Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi or Elizabeth Warren agree with that doesn't matter, because they condone it and promote it. And I guess, only 3 times in the last 100 years has the out party in the first term of administration not won House seats. And because it's so close, it doesn't mean even though they're polling as a party about 28%, they feel they can drive down Donald Trump's. I don't think the polls are that accurate. It's probably more like 50-50 rather than some of these crazy polls that have him down 10. But I think it's pretty close. But they feel that the more antics, the more hysteria that they can generate, it's kind of like collateral damage or a nuclear weapon. It just makes everything so chaotic that they can say, Trump made us like this. He brought out this. He's the disruptor. And you saw that with Tim Walz. Fallon, it doesn't make sense, but they just want to create a general atmosphere that things are chaotic, that there's no organization to anything, that we're in the middle of a tumult, and that they're going to stop that. And that's what they plan.
And before we go more into Chicago, creating this circumstance of chaos, and I agree with Victor's synopsis of what the Democrats are doing is they're pretending that Trump is doing, he's being chaotic, reckless, doing all this stuff because of the fact that they're uncooperative with Donald Trump. And they're trying to make everything, Donald Trump made us crazy, right? Shifting all the kind of blame to Donald Trump. And it's the same thing their voters do. Their voters love to be victims about everything. Nothing's ever their fault. And if they are doing something bad and disruptive, they blame the other party for making them this way. Make it make sense. And this is for years. This is something I think this comic here, I think it's a perfect encapsulation of one of the concerns and one of the things I point out about liberal bias in journalism. For years, I thought I was reading the news. I have never been more wrong. I was reading carefully crafted, completely fictional stories. They choose the heroes, they script their villains, and I bought it. Let me show you the playbook that tricked me for years. And I don't need to go into detail exactly. We all have experience of how the media craft narratives. For instance, CBS just got caught editing Kristi Noem's comments about Alberto Garcia's deportation and augmenting facts that hurt a narrative that they've been viciously defending, that Alberto Garcia was illegally deported. No, he was illegally in the country and he has to go back somewhere. And he refused to go back to his home country. But he's not staying here. He's not staying in America. And they edited that out. And tactics like that is what hurts the credibility of CNN. I just did a video during Labor Day about how the CNN host attempts to misrepresent data points to try to deflect from criticism or people critical of the role of transgenderism, mental illness, and mass shooting as a way to deflect from all that. And many people are seeing it over and over again, the scripting, the narrative, right?
So we're for child separation from their families now. We used to be against that. Now I guess we're for it. Here's what happened. These kids came here during the Biden administration.
These children have family in this country.
And their parents are in Guatemala, and the Guatemalan government.
Well, not all of them. Not all of them.
The 10-year-old little girl who lost her mother, and then she said she was abused in Guatemala and came over. It's more complicated than just clear cut. They all have parents in Guatemala.
These children were abandoned here somehow. They've been, sent here for some period of time. They're trying to reunite them with their families where they're from, with a government that has asked for their return and wants to facilitate their return. This all happened under the Biden administration. Now a Biden judge is trying to keep them here and to further this policy of keeping them separated from the families that they have in Guatemala. Everybody's upset about this, and I don't know why. They're trying to reunite them with their families.
And then this is an example of what I'm talking about. An example of what the segment I just showed with Victor, highlighting how Democrats are intentionally causing chaos. And one of the ways they are making everything seem chaotic is they react chaotically to what Donald Trump is doing. They try to act like what Donald Trump is doing is unreasonable, it's not right, it's reckless, whatever. And it doesn't matter what Donald Trump do. Donald Trump can say 2 + 2 = 4, and the Democrats will outrage about it and say, oh my God, this math is racist. Oh, it lacks historical context. Oh, what a reckless thing to say for Donald Trump to say 2 + 2 = 4. He's making fun of black kids, whatever. They'll just act sporadically against Donald Trump to make this appearance that, because this is what the Democrats want you to come away with when they react to things that Donald Trump is doing. They want you to come away with, damn, Donald Trump is creating such reaction from the Democratic Party, such reaction and disruption, and the media plays. This is why I call out liberal bias in the legacy media. They play along with this stuff, and they, like the guy in the tweet that I just highlighted here, they do a playbook, they run a script. Hey, we want to make this guy have this image of he's reckless, he's a dictator, he's this. There's no justification for doing any of this. This is why with their actions, they're protecting illegal aliens and violent criminals, because they got to make it seem like Donald Trump is sicking the National Guard on American citizens. And American citizens are rejecting Donald Trump and saying they don't want him here, right? And this is the kind of narrative crafting they're trying to do. But I think it's not working because a lot of Americans are not buying it, because Donald Trump is showing you the results. Look, crime is down 35%. Not a single black person died in 13 days in Washington, D.C. Black Lives Matter. Oh, wait. Democrats are outraged over this. How you can be outraged? No black lives are lost during the attempt that Donald Trump has done. You should be happy about this, left, but you don't care about principles. You don't care about results, if it helps your constituency or not. And this is something black conservatives have been calling out about black liberals, is that they're soft on crime, this criminal justice reform stuff. It's all tactics. The results of these things, I don't care about the intentions of these things. I care only about the results. The results of these things, all it does is keep violent crime in the black community, right? White communities are allowed to have a huge police presence. Other communities are allowed to have huge police presence. But the communities that need police presence the most, right? Because black victims are disproportionately represented in crime data. No one wants to talk about that. We're 30% of the population, but we represent 36% of crime victims. We need heavier police presence in black neighborhoods. But the left, they categorize this as racist. But look at the outcomes. Who is it hurting? Law-abiding black people. And then I will get black liberals in my comment section getting mad at me, saying shame on me, because I'm advocating for more policing in black neighborhoods. Make that make sense. But law-abiding blacks are the ones that's suffering the most from this negligence from the left. And they're wondering why they're losing ground. And I implore America, we must pay attention. Special elections, all this stuff, we can't be caught off guard, because the only way these people have power is if we're not paying attention.
How it was done, right? I understand you're taking the administration's line on this, but woken up in the middle of the night over a holiday weekend, not having a chance to go before a judge to contest this or explain why they want to go back to Guatemala or anything like that, and put aboard these planes, and then then the lawyers step in, a judge steps in, and here we are.
My general view is if their families in Guatemala and the Guatemalan government want them back, we should send them back.
But then why not do it during business hours?
Yeah, Labor Day weekend.
Why in the middle of the night, 2 in the morning?
Yeah,
well,
it sure does. Seems a little fishy to me.
You don't think
it's just a weird
keep
time
them separated
to do
from
this.
their families?
No, I think children. I think Lulu's exactly right. There's a due process system in place in our government.
We're not saying they're criminals.
And
we're just saying they should go home.
children deserve to be able to go in front of a judge and defend why they're here. These are children, Scott, that we're talking about.
Do you think they made the conscious choice to come here on their own, or were they sent here for some other reason?
Actually,
some of them
this
were
is the
probably
point. None of us know that we're dealing with
stories of
children.
these children. None of us know.
I don't care about the story. All right. Honestly, we as a nation, right? We don't care. I don't care about your reasons for why you had to break into my house. I don't care if it was cold outside. I don't care if you were hungry and you stole food from my fridge. You took from me. You're inconvenience to me. You're inconvenience to the U.S. government, our tax dollars, right? Trump is threatening to remove illegals from having any access to any government welfare. That's going to piss off the left, because that's pretty much the bribery machine for the left, right? And these are the type of things that the left get themselves, they get caught defending dumb things, right? And I got another one. I feel like I'm on a tirade right now. I got another one. So this is the rallies in Chicago as Trump vows immigration crackdowns. And look at this optics. This is what they want. They want the story to be about, look at the resistance of this. And then they have all their media lackeys with liberal biases highlight the story and try to present it as if Trump's the antagonizer here. Trump is not wanted. No one wants Trump here. Chicagoans are united against Trump. Really? I showed you videos of Chicagoans, black Chicagoans saying, hey, we could use some help over here. Hey, we like what Donald Trump did in D.C. I think Chicago can use that right now. The place called Chirac. A shooting just happened. I think 35 people were hurt and injured. I bet you, I wonder how many of those people were black. But these same liberals will be like, oh, Black Lives Matter. Oh, we're the real black people. Kenny, black conservatives are coons. What sounds more coonish? Getting in the way of a solution that's going to preserve and save more black lives, or allowing a system to be, allowing the environment to stay the same, where black people are disproportionately hurt during these school shootings or these mass shootings that happen in Chicago in these neighborhoods, these carjackings, where Chicago politicians can't even walk in their streets without security detail, but you don't need any help. All for politics. And this is why I implore Americans, vote these people out. Democrats are not going to learn until they lose their power, because that's the only thing Democrats care about. But I digress. I want to get through this clip real quick before I give my final thoughts.
You were smirking when you were listening to him.
Well, look, surging federal agents, ICE, CPB, to a state that has over 500,000 illegal immigrants in it, many of them live in Chicago. I mean, the federal government is going to enforce federal law. I hear Pritzker complaining that there's no coordination, but I also heard the mayor say he's ordered the police department not to cooperate with federal officials on this.
And then, sorry, I'm just going to put a quick point here. And then the Democrats will act like, oh my God, look how chaotic and sporadic Donald Trump is. Trump is not coordinated. Trump is not this, but they're the ones causing it. They're the cause of it. They're the cause of the disruption. They're the cause of the uncoordination. They're the cause of the sloppiness, the lack of execution, because they're actively using this to resist Donald Trump. At the expense of who? Chicagoans. Chicagoans can benefit from more support from the federal government. Hey, work with Donald Trump. You don't want to, though, because you want to craft this narrative, craft this story, because from these liberal legacy media's news networks, you don't get news. You're not informed on news. You're informed of a story they want you to believe in. And this is how they help craft the narrative. This is the casting call. The Democrats sit here, pretend that what Donald Trump doing, oh my God, it's unjustified. There's a manufactured crisis. Crime in Chicago is a manufactured crisis. This is the kind of narrative that they play, because all this is a political theater for them. And this is my problem with the Democratic Party.
Immigration crackdown. So how are you supposed to cooperate if the mayor is ordering his own police force not to do so? The fact is, you have people in this country illegally. The president has promised, since he was running his campaign last year, that he planned to crack down on illegal immigration. He's sending federal agents to Illinois to do that. I'm not entirely certain why everybody is so angry or surprised about this. I mean, we're here enforcing federal immigration law in a city that we can argue about whether it's a crisis or not, but there were 53 shootings there over the weekend. It's pretty violent.
Here in D.C., apparently it's about crime, except most of what we've seen has been immigration enforcement. Now you're going to move to a U.S. city, Chicago, where apparently it is.
But you can't argue the results, lady. You can't argue the results. Crime is down 35%. Carjacking is down 87%. I did a video on this already. What she's talking about? Distraction, deflection. Gotta craft the story. Every time a liberal tells me something about what is a fact, I'm like, okay, can you clarify that for me? And when it's time for them to clarify, you realize, oh, you just bought into a story. You're not actually informed on what's going on. All you did was you're informed on a story, like a television show.
In immigration enforcement if it's the president, but it's not. It's about crime. Like, what are we talking about?
Aren't
it
they
makes
one and
no
the same?
sense.
If you're in the country illegally, you're a criminal.
No, that's not the same thing. And you know
Why?
You
I
know,
mean, if
it's
you're-
It's a
if you're
civil
breaking-
offense if you
if-
cross the border.
Oh my
illegally.
gosh! I
No,
can't
but wait a
believe we're gonna
second.
have
You
this
are
fight
trying
again.
to make.
If you're here breaking U.S. immigration law, why
Okay,
should
you
we
are
be
trying to
deported?
make.
Can I just respond to the National Guard? You told me you haven't been here all month. I've been here every week this month since they've been deployed.
I've been here all
Here's-
summer, Scott,
here's-
except for the last few
here's-
weeks. So
except
I
for-
live here
so-
in Washington,
So since
D.C.
National Guard's been deployed?
Yeah, but you cannot sit here and tell me that I don't know how it's affecting my
here's-
community that I've lived in for a very long time.
Here's what I'm telling you. I've been walking around here all weekend and every week for the last several weeks since they've been deployed. Here's what I've seen. I've seen extremely friendly National Guard members having extremely friendly interactions. I've seen them pose for numerous pictures. Other than a few soreheads out doing protesting who tend to protest everything, I think they have been extremely well received from my observations, and they've been quite a bit. I've been here
Yeah, but
for
Scott, is
most
this
of the
a
last
good
month.
use of our National Guard
Yeah.
to come into communities?
We've arrested thousands of criminals, taking illegal guns off the
Like, think about it. They don't think it's like, is that like they got nothing? They got nothing. Is it good? Is it good? Is it good? Is it a good reason to use our National Guard for this? National Guard. I think so. I think many citizens will say yes. People who don't have a political agenda or a political conflict to be a negative towards this. And this is how the Democrats come across. Washington, D.C. is 93% Democrat. So when you ask a Democrat, do you oppose what Donald Trump is doing? All they need to hear is Trump's name, and they're going to say yes. That's a political, that political sense, that political angle, to me, contaminates the data. So when these libs come out, oh, look, Washington, D.C. residents reject what Donald Trump is doing. Of course. 93% of the residents voted against Donald Trump. Of course they're going to be against what he has to say or what he has to do. There's a political interest there. But when you ask the survey data, hey, do you feel safe? Do you think crime is a big issue in D.C.? You get overwhelmingly yes. 65% of black women who live in D.C. say they don't feel safe in the district. But the minute you put Trump's name in there, those same 65% black women will say something different because for what? Political ends. And they don't. None of their studies, none of their surveys account for this. And then the same lady will say, "Oh, I see crime. I can say crime up." No, you can't. No, you can't. You're a lib. You're a lib. But look at the results. Carjackings are down. You got no results on the merits. You're failing. You have a theory and reality, liberal, and reality is showing your theory is wrong. I think if you told people, "Hey, since the National Guard's been deployed, not a single person has lost their life, aka not a single black person, because black people are disproportionately victims of violent crime." Look at the stats. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at the stats. Get mad at reality. So not a single black life was lost in the past week or so since the National Guard has been deployed. Streets are safer. Residents are feeling more at ease in the communities, right? Business is booming because they're now the added layer of safety. People feel more comfortable going out past certain hours now. If you ask Americans, hey, is this justified? Was Trump justified in federalizing the D.C. National Guard to help out? Many D.C. residents will say yes, secretly, if you don't have to bring Trump's name into this. And now Chicagoans, they want that outcome too. And who's fighting them? Their Democratic mayor. And what reasons is he giving? Donald Trump's a dictator. Donald Trump says fascist. Oh, we will stand against Donald Trump. But is that really in the interest of Chicagoans? Or that's only in the interest of the Democratic Party to create this narrative that Trump is disruptive and chaotic and try to create storylines for that? No, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. It'd be interesting to see what you guys have to say. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video if you're so inclined. It really does help me out in the algorithm. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.